Hello, I'm Detmar Meurers from the University of Tübingen, and I'm a computational linguist, work on the interface of using methods such as artificial intelligence and digital tools to support language teaching and language learning. So education, if you think about it, there are a lot of traditions, and there's a lot of good traditions, but there's also a lot of research on what makes effective tools for learning and teaching. And what I focus on is teaching languages, on the one hand, foreign languages, but also how can you communicate how a language works to people. For example, if you study geography, a text in geography is not the same text as appropriate for different people at different ages. A 5th grader in school needs a different text than a 10th grader. So not just the content grows, but also the language grows. And the question is, how can we use technology to support this language growth, either as a foreign language, such as Basque, or as a native language, could also be Basque or English. So it depends on the different contexts. But my goal is to ask, what are the mechanisms behind learning and teaching languages, and how can digital tools be used to support that better? You cannot learn a language without hearing it, without reading it, but not the same text is the right text for everyone. So the question is, if I now write something, how can I find the text that is the next level more difficult? Imagine you want to catch a bus, for example, with your child. You have a child with you. If the child walks by him or herself, then the problem is that you don't catch the bus. It's too slow. But if you pull them a little bit, if you support them and say, oh, let's catch it together, then you can basically support the child in growing to faster walking speeds and reaching the bus. The same is true for your language. If I give you simple language always, you cannot grow in your language. When you look at language teaching learning, there have been different traditions through the years. So in the beginning, a lot of a popular mechanism was to teach the grammar first, coming from Latin in a sense. But the problem is, by learning grammar, you need to know aspects of grammar, but you want to use it to communicate. You want to use it to achieve tasks, to book a room, for example, in a foreign language, or things like that. And so then there came the communicative wave, where it was all about teaching. But if you only talk, then that's not enough. You fossilize in your, the language system doesn't develop. It's like a chess player always moving the same pieces because he or she doesn't know how to move the other pieces. I think language teaching learning will go towards more adaptive and interactive materials. Therefore, the same book cannot be used for everyone. It needs to be different, just like now. You read books and you read newsreader in a different way than she does. So the idea is, I think language teaching learning will be able to advance by looking at opportunities for individualizing content in a way that still supports the general goal of a certain learning sequence in the language, where you then have certain target constructions that you need to alert people of, and this kind of integration of function and form, meaning-based communication, and the forms that you need to step-by-step practice to get fluent behavior. That is something that I think will happen in the future more, and I think technology has an important role to play. So we need some technology support to have intelligent tutoring systems, and then you can really move further in the human interaction when you have the fluent language, rather than having to go to a person and say, I think. You know, that doesn't work. You need to practice.